Am I the jerk? Number 8.
Am I the jerk for telling my sister not to announce her pregnancy at my wedding because I was going to announce mine, but she did it anyway? I got married 3 months ago to my amazing husband. It was supposed to be one of the happiest days of my life, but my sister managed to overshadow it in a way I can't get over. Some context, my husband and I had been trying for a baby for a while, and when we finally got a positive test, we were over the moon. We decided we'd share the news with our family and friends during the wedding reception, not in a flashy way, just a heartfelt moment during the speeches. Only my parents and my maid of honor knew about it. A few weeks before the wedding, my sister pulled me aside to tell me she was pregnant. I was genuinely happy for her, it was a sweet moment. But then, very casually, she said she was thinking of announcing it at my wedding. I was stunned. I gently asked her not to do that. I even explained why. I was pregnant too, and we planned to share the news that day. I asked her if she could please wait a bit, just so the day could stay focused on the wedding. She seemed a bit annoyed, but didn't argue much, so I thought we were on the same page. Well, the reception comes around, and guess what? Right after the speeches, she stands up, taps her glass, and announces her pregnancy. The room erupted in applause, and suddenly, my wedding turned into her baby announcement party. I was in shock. I couldn't even share my own news anymore because it would have looked like I was trying to steal her thunder. Later, when I confronted her, she acted like I was overreacting and said she just couldn't keep it in any longer. When I told her how hurt I was, she called me selfish for trying to control when people share their happiness. My parents agreed she crossed a line, but they told me to let it go for the sake of family peace. But I can't let it go. Every time I think about my wedding, I get this bitter knot in my stomach because she stole a moment that was meant to be special for me. Meanwhile, she still thinks I'm being dramatic and that I should be happy for her instead of making it all about me. So, am I the jerk for not being able to let this go? Update. Hi again, Reddit. First off, thank you for the support and validation, it really helped me not feel like I was crazy. Some of you asked for an update, and, well, things got a little petty. I'll admit that. I'm not proud of everything, but I don't regret it either. After the wedding drama, my relationship with my sister was, at best, distant. She kept acting like I was just hormonal and selfish, and every time we talked, she somehow managed to make herself the victim. Eventually, I figured, if she thought I was dramatic and selfish, then fine, I'd own it. About a month later, my husband and I threw a small gender reveal party, nothing big, just family and a few close friends. We didn't invite my sister. She found out through a cousin's Instagram story and texted me something snarky like, "Wow, I'm not family anymore?" I replied, "Well, I didn't want to risk you announcing something again and stealing the spotlight." Fair, right? But the real revenge came at the baby shower. I had custom cookies made that said, "We waited our turn." One of the decorations was a sign that read, "Every special day deserves its own celebration." Some people laughed, others looked a bit uncomfortable, but I saw my sister read one of the cookies and go completely silent. She asked if the cookie was about her. I said, "If the shoe fits," and walked away. Now she's telling everyone in the family that I'm the dramatic and resentful one. Ironic, huh? But honestly, I don't care. I didn't ruin her wedding. She ruined mine. Let her sit with that for a while. Oh, and also, my baby is due a week before hers. Guess we'll be posting baby pics right when she's in labor? I'm not saying I'll plan it that way, but I'm not saying I won't. Thanks again, Reddit. Sometimes, petty justice is the only justice.
Am I the jerk for supporting my son shaving when my wife says he's too young? My wife, 39F, and I, 41M, have a 13-year-old son who recently came to me with a personal question. Was it okay for him to shave down there? I was caught off guard but stayed calm. I told him it's totally normal to want to feel clean or groomed, and that body care is a personal choice. I made sure he wasn't being pressured by anyone and reminded him that hygiene and safety come first. He asked if I could help him get a trimmer. I said yes. That night, I told my wife, thinking she'd be glad our son felt comfortable enough to talk to me. Instead, she got upset. She said 13 was too young to even be thinking about that and that I was encouraging adult behavior. I told her it's not inherently sexual, it's about body comfort and having control over his own body. I also said that if we don't turn things like this into taboos, he'll be more likely to come to us in the future. She disagreed and said I should have waited until we were both present to talk about it. I explained it was a private father-son moment and I didn't want to embarrass him or make him feel weird for asking. She said I went behind her back. This turned into a bigger argument. She started questioning how we handle other things: body image, puberty, screen time. She asked me to return the trimmer. I told her no. I said we need to be on the same page, but I'm not going to punish our son for being open and responsible. To be clear, we've always been open about bodies and development. But this clearly hit a nerve with her. She grew up in a more conservative household and has always been a little anxious about our son growing up too fast. Since then, she's been distant with both me and our son. She said she feels undermined. Our son has already noticed the tension and now feels awkward even talking about normal hygiene stuff. Now we're kind of at a stalemate. I've tried to approach it gently, even suggested therapy to talk about how to handle puberty topics, but she thinks I'm being too dramatic. Her sister, who is teens, said I did the right thing and that it's not a big deal, but my wife thinks that's just modern parenting gone too far. So now I'm wondering, am I the jerk for supporting my son's decision about his personal hygiene without consulting my wife first? Is she the jerk for reacting so strongly and making it into a shameful thing that could have been handled more calmly? For the record, I also told my son that if he ever feels unsure or uncomfortable about anything related to his body, he can come to either of us and that we love him no matter what.
Am I the jerk for letting my best friend get humiliated by my older group of friends? I'm a 16-year-old girl, and I have a best friend named Amanda, not her real name, just to avoid problems. We met about a year ago when I switched to a new class, and we quickly became close. It didn't take long for us to become best friends and share everything with each other. Now, I should mention that Amanda comes from a slightly wealthier background than most people in our group. Even though she says she doesn't care about that, there are times when she acts snobbish and classist, making comments that bother the people around her. I ignored all of this at first because I had never had a close friend like her before, let alone a best friend. You might think I'm one of those antisocial girls with few or no friends, but actually, it's the opposite. I'm very outgoing and mature for my age. I can talk about pretty much anything and get along with both people my age and those much older. In fact, my closest group of friends for the past 4 years has been made up of people in a higher grade. Because of their tight schedules, I never really had a chance to introduce Amanda to them, though, to be honest, I also didn't want to. The truth is, I had started to notice a certain jealousy or even resentment from Amanda. Whenever she got mad, she'd throw low-key insults at me about how no one liked me because of the way I look, or make fun of the fact that I've never had a boyfriend. That's by choice. By the way, I don't like the idea of having to be emotionally available 24/7 for someone who may not even add value to my life. I'd rather focus on school and wait for the right guy. She would also downplay my accomplishments, like saying teachers only like me because I suck up to them. The worst part? She'd copy things I did just to try and outshine me, often making a fool of herself and somehow blaming me afterward. Still, I excused her behavior. I figured it came from emotional instability. Her parents are divorced, and her dad has never really been present. Her mom is immature and still wants to live her own life, so Amanda is mostly supported by her grandmother and her dad's side of the family, who have money. My life wasn't luxurious, but I've always had love. I'm my grandmother's first grandchild, the only daughter of my aunts, who only have boys, and my parents' little princess, so, yeah, I've never lacked affection. Now, back to the story. Eventually, the day came when Amanda met my group. And to my surprise, everything went fine, until 3 weeks ago. We were all talking about politics. Yeah, we're young but we like those topics, and I was trying to offer a solution that took everyone's opinions into account to avoid the discussion getting heated. But before I could finish my point, Amanda cut me off, super rudely. I felt awful. I'm pretty sensitive and was already close to tears when suddenly, my friend Anna, again, fake name, who I'm very close to, stepped in. Anna and I have a special bond. After a lot of effort and time, I became like a little sister to her. She even got the rest of the group to see me that way, so now I'm basically the baby of the group faced with tears of joy. Anyway, Anna interrupted Amanda and said, "You're honestly the definition of a trash person. I knew it was a bad idea to bring you into our group. We've all seen the way you resent me, just for being kind, funny, smart, and, most importantly, for having something you seriously lack, self-esteem. But I'm not going to waste more words on someone who wouldn't understand them anyway. Just know this, don't ever come near our group again." Everyone in the group went silent. And I just started crying. For someone like Anna, who rarely shows emotions, to say something that's sweet about me really made me feel like maybe I was doing something right in life. As for Amanda, she looked at the others, probably waiting for someone to back her up. But no one did. Her face turned the deepest red I've ever seen, and she left. She didn't say a single word to me after that, until last week. Out of nowhere, she sent me a long message, furious that I hadn't defended her from what she called a public humiliation by my so-called friends. She said I was a terrible friend for letting that happen and that I should have stood up for her. I didn't respond. Now, she's being more annoying and aggressive than ever. So, am I really the jerk here?
That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below what you thought about these stories. Do you really think they were the jerks? Here are some other videos I highly recommend, and don't forget you'll find a wide variety of them on my channel. See you next time.